And we'll just put the block between your legs. Yeah. Between the knees, thighs, wherever it feels comfortable for you. And just find your stance here. So just like lift our heart, let the shoulders relax, and breathe a little bit. So as we inhale, just relax, and as we exhale, you're going to gently squeeze the block and lengthen your spine. So feel like you can just sort of lengthen upwards as you gently squeeze the block, right? And then relax as you inhale. Good. So as we exhale, gently squeeze, we're going to feel sort of a lift happening, right? So we feel everything inside sort of lifting up as we lengthen our spine. Good. And then relax as you inhale. And gently squeeze, lengthen. And then if you want, you can lift your heels as well, if you want to add that in. So good. On the exhale, gently squeeze, lengthen, and maybe float the heels up and back down as you inhale. Make sure you have a good hold on your block. Okay, so just a couple more breaths. If you like, you can also use your arms. But focusing on that lengthening on the exhale, relaxing on the inhale. Good. And then next time the heels come down, go ahead and take the block and put it on the ground. And this is where you might need something to help you balance or be near a wall. Okay, so we'll put the block under one foot, whichever one you want to start with, doesn't matter. I can only do one. And you're going to step on it. So we're going to step up on that block. And again, like if you want to have your roller or be near a wall. Good. And then just focusing on our pelvis. Today, we're going to focus a little bit on pelvic movement. So let your pelvis tilt up on that side that's on the block, and then lift that dangling leg, tilting the pelvis up on that side. So it's kind of an up and down tilt of the pelvis. And you're in neutral, right? We're in our neutral pelvis. So we're not arching our back, we're not rounding. Let that hip go up and down. Good. And then we'll find that where our pelvis is level, and see if you can't just let your legs sort of dangle and swing, and let that leg bone just release from the hip. You just kind of let it swing a little bit, or just dangle if you don't want to swing, if it's too much for balancing. Yeah. Good. And then we'll step down and switch to the other side. So I'm not going to be able to do the side, but whatever side you didn't do, step up on that side. I'm just going to keep my other foot on the ground. So you can also do that to help you kind of catch yourself if you want, as long as you're moving the hips, right? So we're going to focus on shifting in our neutral pelvis, focus on shifting that hip up and down on this side. So I'm kind of on my toes on my other foot because I can't completely do it, put my weight onto the right foot yet. Pushing it. And then we'll find neutral, or find where your pelvis is level, and see if you can just let your legs sort of swing a little bit, dangle, and just let this leg bone release. Right? Yeah, maybe you can really swing it. Yeah, but mostly just letting the leg kind of release in the hip socket. Okay, then we'll come off of the block. My roller, pick up your block and hold it in front of your chest. So we're just gonna kind of press our hands into it, right? And then just as we inhale, gently press into the block and lengthen your spine. And then as we exhale, we're just going to twist to one side. So the block stays here in front of our chest. And then back to center. Good. Again, inhaling as you gently press and lengthen. Exhale, twist. So it's not a very big twist. Good. And come center again. Lengthen, twist, and gently pressing. And back to center. Lengthen and twist. Good. And back to center. Bring your block in front of you. Just straighten the arms. Good. And we're going to just take it with one hand. Bring it behind our back. Switch. Bring it forward. And then with the other hand, bring it behind your back. Switch. Bring it forward. And this time we're going to take it behind our back and have both hands on the block and just kind of gently pressing your block into your butt, right? So feel your shoulder blades kind of pull together, feel your shoulders roll back, and just look up. So we're going to do a little bit of a back bend here, just arching back. Just a little arch, and then return back here. Release, take your block over your head. We'll just do a little side bending. So take an inhale. As we exhale, we're just going to take it over to one side and sort of reach out. And we'll lift back up. Inhale. Exhale over to the other side. Lift back up. More. Take it over. A little quicker maybe. And lift. And take it over. And up. Go ahead and bring the block down in front of you and come to the end of your mat. Hold on to the block if you want here. Inhale. As we exhale, we're just going to let everything melt down to the mat. So arms are heavy. Block down. If you want to, you can put your hands on it, right? And just let your hands rest on it. Okay, and maybe bend and straighten the legs. Release the head and neck. That's doable for you. You might bend one knee and then the other knee and feel our hips kind of shifting a little side to side. And then bringing our leg center, we're going to bring the block farther out in front of us. Put your hands on it. So it's just a little ways out with your arms straight, and see if you can press your heels into the mat here and sort of flattening the back, lifting the tailbone, and just look forward, like forward toward the front of your mat. And then we'll go ahead and bring the block a little off to the side, walk the hands farther. So hands a little farther away, pressing the heels into the mat, lifting the tailbone. Let your body move around if it wants to. Might shift it forward and back, side to side. And then we'll go ahead and bring ourselves all the way to the mat. Bring your knees down, come around to sitting. And we'll put the block. Now you can orient the block either the thinnest way or the medium way. You might play around with that, what you like, what you prefer, and just bring it between your thighs and knees. You can always change it, right? And then we'll just take a little inhale as we hold on to our thighs and lengthen our spine. And then as we exhale, gently squeeze the block, curl the tailbone under, letting your low back round. Pull back if you want, but keep the shoulders relaxed. Good. Inhale as we relax on the block, and then gently squeeze the block and bring yourself up on your exhale. So we'll just do that a couple more times. Good. Inhale tall, exhale gently squeeze and curl back, rounding back. Stay here and lift your left arm up by your ear. Good. Bring it back to your leg. Bring your right arm up. Bring it back to your leg. Inhale. Exhale, gently squeeze and lift back up. Inhale, tall. Exhale again. Round back to your arms are straight. And then we'll bring both arms up on the inhale and bring them back. Keep the tailbone curling under you 3 times. Lift up and back. One more time. Lift up. Gonna warm up a bit. Bring it back. Grab hold of your legs. Pull yourself up. Oh, this time we'll come on to our back. So we'll inhale. As we exhale, we're gonna lengthen our spine all the way down. Bring your feet in close to your hips as you come down and relax on your back. So I'm gonna just take a little bit of pelvic movement here, up and down, right? So inhale, just let your sacrum, let your pelvis relax. So you naturally arch. As we exhale, we gently squeeze the block and feel our tailbone curling up as we feel our low back pressing into the mat, right? So inhale and just breathe fully. Let your shoulders stay relaxed as you move your sacrum, move your pelvis in this motion, right? So it's just an up and down, little curl and a little arch. Yeah. Really just simple stuff that's really good for our sacrum, right? And then next time we gently squeeze and curl the tailbone up, we'll go ahead and peel our spine off the mat, coming into a bridge. Good. And at the top of our bridge, we'll press the hips up and then relaxing our shoulders, gently squeezing on your exhale, melting back down, one bone at a time, and then relax everything on your inhale. And again, gently squeeze, peel off the mat on your exhale, pressing the hips up as you inhale and melting your spine. See how much movement we can get in our spine. And of course, we engage those muscles by gently squeezing our block. Good. Next time we peel off the mat into our bridge, at the top of your bridge, take your arms over your head and just let them relax on the floor behind you. And then we'll melt our spine down one bone at a time on the exhale. Just let everything relax. And then we'll clasp our hands behind our head, inhale, and then on our exhale, pressing the rib cage into the mat to lift up and gently squeeze your block, coming into that chest lift. Inhale to lie back down. Nice deep breath. Exhale, gently squeeze as you press up. Inhale, lie back down. Keep going. Exhale, gently squeeze. You don't have to press up that high, right? It's really about the engagement of the lower and upper muscles, lower body, and the upper body muscles, right? Upper abs. Exhale, squeeze, lift. Not about tensing our neck. Inhale down. This time we're going to stay up. So as we press up on our exhale, stay here, lift your knees, block up, lay your head and shoulders back down. Good. Inhale, exhale, gently squeeze, press head and shoulders up. You're going to just stay here supporting your head. And this time we're going to bring our knees towards our head or towards our bring the block towards your head, right? So little tiny movement, lifting the hips, gently squeezing your block maybe to help you. Try not to tense your neck. Just a little lift of the hips. Good. And then go ahead and relax your head down onto the mat. Let your legs relax for a moment. One more time, we're going to bring ourselves up on our exhale. So legs come into tabletop, press head and shoulders up, and then bring your block away from you a little bit. And bring it back. And then lift the hips. And then come back to your start position. So legs go a little bit away. Don't go too far. Bring it back and then bring the block towards your head. It's hard. So it doesn't have to be a very big movement, right? Because it is very challenging, right? Just try not to tense the neck. So legs away, legs toward us, and then we just give that little hip lift. Inhale and exhale. Don't mess around getting into the hard stuff here. Last one. And then when you finish, you relax your head down, hug your knees, and rock your body. You could take your block out. Just your body relax. Yeah. And then we're going to put the block between our feet. Again, you can do whatever orientation you want. If you want a little wider, if you want a narrow orientation. Okay, just put it between your feet. Hold on to it. Good. And then we'll go ahead and clasp our hands behind our head. We're going to pull the block towards us. So your knees will kind of open out to the side a bit, right? And then as we exhale, we're going to stretch the legs out at an angle, but feel your back on the mat. So don't let it be too low. So pull in and stretch out. And pull in, kind of opening the legs apart a bit, the knees, and stretch out. Now, if you want, you can lift your head and shoulders up as well as you stretch out. Go ahead and press up, or you can stay down, either way. Right? So try to get a little bit of a hip opening. We open and breathe. This time as we stretch out, we'll stay here. Lift the legs up. Lower them back. Bend the knees and lay down. And if you're pressing up, stretch out. As you press up, lift the legs and lower them. Bend the knees as you lie back. Again, stretch out and lift and lower. Pull it in. Last time, we're going to stretch the legs out, lift them to the ceiling, lower the head down, stay there. Go ahead and bend your knees and bring your arms out from your shoulders. So we're going to take our legs over to one side on our inhale. And you might gently squeeze the block with your feet if you want. Bring it back to the top. Take your hips to the other side or your legs to the other side, rolling off that hip and back to the top. So side to side, keeping our shoulders anchored, holding onto that block. Inhale and exhale. If you want, you can straighten your legs more and continue, or you can keep them bent. Either way, a few more times to the side. And exhale back. Side. Back. Getting a little bit of a twist going. And when you're even on both sides and you come to the top, bend your knees if they're straight, grab a hold of your block, Put your feet on the mat. And we'll put our block underneath our left foot. So you're just going to put your left foot on top of it. Position. So we're lopsided, right? Our hip is going to be a little bit lopsided. Like I said, we're going to do some pelvic mobility stuff. So we're going to bridge here, inhale, and then as you exhale, peel off the mat. Good. And at the top, as we inhale, and then melt the spine down on your exhale. And again, inhale, exhale, peel off the mat. Good. Inhale at the top, exhale, melt back down. Inhale here. This time we're going to peel up off the mat, come into the bridge. We're going to stay there. I'm just going to float your right leg up, straighten it to the ceiling. Good. Now this might be a lot, so take a break if you need to by putting your foot back down on the ground or whatever you need to do, but see if you can just kind of lower that leg down and lift it back up. And if you want to, you can put your arms down so that your elbows and your upper arms are helping you, pointing your hands upward like that. It will probably make it a little easier. Lower and lift. And lower and lift. Good. And then we'll lower, bend the knee, put the foot back on the mat. Press your hips up as you inhale and articulate down on the exhale. Then we'll switch the block over to the right foot. So block under the right foot. Inhale here. As we exhale, heel up off the mat. You might notice one side feels better than the other side to you. Inhale, exhale, melt back down. Inhale at the bottom, exhale, peel off the mat. But you'll notice just a little different experience, right? On this side, exhale back down. And one more time, we're going to exhale up and stay there. And then float that left leg up, extend to the ceiling. Good. And then see if you can't lower and lift. Holding your hips nice and steady and lift. And again, you can bend your elbows and bring your hands up like that so that it might be more stable for you. And lower and lift. And then this time we lower, bend the knee, put your foot back on the mat, pressing your hips up. Good. And exhaling one bone at a time. Oh, yes. All right. And then take that foot off your block. Put the block between your feet. Straighten your legs. And then let's just bring our arms over our head. Let's do a big stretch. So you're going to reach through one arm and one leg and then the other, right? Little side to side reach. So we feel our hips, shoulders kind of moving up and down, scooching up and down, right? As we stretch. And then come to center, relaxing everything. We're going to sweep our arms down, lift our head and chest up, squeeze your block to roll up. Hopefully that helps. And then you're going to, out of the way. And then we're going to just hold on to our block with our feet. Take a big stretch over the legs. And then we'll just see if we're going to do a few roll-ups this way. So rolling back, if you think you can go all the way down and bring your arms up over your head, sweep them around, reach for your feet, squeeze the block and roll up. And take a stretch over the legs. Inhale, exhale, roll down, arms up, over, sweep them around to help you come back up. Squeeze your block to help you come back up. And stretch. One more, roll back. Really breathe. Use the breath to help you. Yeah, it's coming off. Stretch over your legs. And then what we'll do is come up and put the block in the high orientation like that with your right foot on top. The block might move a little bit with the rolling up and down, but that's okay. It might tilt a little bit. So it's like a one-legged teaser, right? Resting your right foot on the block. Inhale, exhale, roll back. Again, your block might tilt a little bit. That's okay. And we're going to sweep the arms, reach, roll back up. And when we come up, we're going to turn to the right. So you're just going to twist both arms to the right, come back. Inhale, exhale, back down. Up and over. Sweep them around. Exhale up. And twist to the right. And come center. And then we'll switch feet on the block. So put the left foot on top. A couple on this side. Inhale, exhale, roll back. Arms with us. Sweep them around. Reach and roll up. And then when we come up, take it to the left. And back. Inhale, exhale. Shoulders relaxed as we roll down. Inhale, exhale, roll up. To the left. Fist. And back to center. And then take that foot off the block. Go ahead and pick up your block. And see if you can bring it all the way underneath your feet. You might not be able to, but if you're able to bring it like underneath your toes, kind of give yourself a little stretch that way. And then lift up. But of course, if you're tight in the legs, you don't try to do that. You don't want to. Okay, so we're going to hold the block in front of our chest and we're going to lengthen our spine. So you might start with your knees a little bit bent. So we can get the spine really tall, really long, and then see how straight you can get your legs right after that. But they can stay bent, like mine are a little bit bent. Good. And then we'll inhale as we lengthen tall and gently pressing into the block and then twist on our exhale. So it's a pretty small twist, right? Because we're focusing on our spine here. And then come back to center, keeping the shoulders relaxed. Inhale, lengthen the spine, tall, gently pressing into the block. Exhale, twist. It's a minuscule twist, right? Good. Exhale, twist. Again, 2 times each side. Now lengthen, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Good. And back to center. And then just go ahead and relax everything. We'll open the legs. Actually, let's go ahead and make a diamond with our legs. That'll kind of let some of that pressure in the thighs. Go to make that diamond or butterfly with your legs and just stretch forward. So yeah, stretch forward, feel a little stretch in our sacrum. And then go ahead and lift up and just turn toward one leg. So you're kind of anchoring the hips down as we walk our hands forward and just bring that head toward that knee. Your head toward whatever side you're on, that knee. But keep the hips really anchored. Right? And then come up, and then we'll turn toward the other knee. Anchor the hips, stretch forward, head toward knee. We feel good in our shoulders, right? And and then we'll come onto our side. We're going to do something a little bit different than we've done before. You're going to be putting the block underneath your hip. So whatever side you want to start with, you put like that. Put your hip on top. Yeah. Just going to make it harder. That's all. That's why. Okay, and then we're on our elbow. That. Hopefully that's comfortable enough for everyone. Yeah, pressing into the ground. Straight line. Good. So what we'll do is the same thing we do when we're not on the block, lift our legs, right? Inhale. And then as we exhale, we're just going to float the legs up. Inhale, float them down. Exhale, float them up. It just makes it a little more challenging. Inhale, float down. Exhale, float up. Makes it a little more work for your side body. Yeah, exhale up. But just do whatever, as much as you can, right? You don't have to do it all, whatever you can manage. And then we're going to float them up this time. Stay there. Lift your top leg and bring back to the bottom leg and lift up, back, and breathe. Well, you can also bring if you want more balance challenge, you can bring your hand up too, your arm that's might rest it on the floor in front of you or lift it up. And then go ahead and let your legs take a little rest all the way down, just for a moment. One more time. Inhale, exhale, float the legs up. Hold the top leg still. Let your bottom leg relax and then squeeze it back up to your top leg. Again, you might try lifting that top arm. You want to add a little more challenge to that balance, or just leave it on the ground. Squeezing our thighs together. And then hold both legs up. See if you could do a little scissoring of the legs, just kind of sweeping the legs here. A little movement forward and back. Breathe. All right, bring the legs together, let them lower down. And we're going to see if you can cross that top foot in front of your bottom leg to lift your hips up. Take the block out, right? And then lower the hips down. Good. And then those of us that can come onto our knees, otherwise you can do this sitting, but if you can come onto your knees, we're going to go ahead and take a side stretch with the block, just kind of using it. But you can sit down and do a side stretch if you need to. So extending that leg out, just going to stretch our arm over, kind of arcing, right? Looking down maybe, and just really stretching the side. And then lifting up, and we'll go ahead and take this hand that's on the block over and stretch that direction. Breathe. Good. And then we'll come up, sit on the block to stretch our hip. So if you just want to, that leg that we just worked that was on top, cross it over, flexing the foot, and you can have this foot on the mat however far away you need to put it from you. Lift your spine, and then just maybe lean forward into that hip stretch a little bit. Of course, if you want to move your head and neck around, and you know that cause a little bit of tension in the neck, that side work. All right, and then we'll come up for the other side. So taking the block under that. And so how are we going to get there? Okay, so we have our legs stacked and our elbow under our shoulder. And again, you can take this arm off the ground if you want. Inhale as we exhale, float the legs up. Inhale down. Exhale, float up. This side might be a little different than your other side. Mine is. Inhale down. Exhale, float up. Keep the legs together. And this time we're going to float up and hold. Take the top leg up and down. You can always rest if you need to. So breathe. Don't expect a huge movement, right? It's not that big. All right, and then we're going to, next time the leg lowers, take a little break. And then we'll lift up again on our exhale. Hold the top leg up, let your bottom leg relax, and then squeeze it back up to the top. So squeezing the, think of the upper thighs kind of squeezing together, inner thigh. Push the air out. Then holding the legs up, we'll see if we can just do a little sweep, scissor sweep of the legs. Little movement. You're on the block, it can't be a very big movement, right? And then bring the legs together, let them relax. Arm down, maybe cross that top foot in front of your bottom leg to lift your hips. And then pull the block out, lower the hips down, and we'll come up. Those of us that can come onto our knees for the side stretch, you can just have your hand on the block like that. And just take a nice big stretch to that side. Sure you tuck the pelvis a little bit under you so you're not sticking your hips back. And then we'll stretch to the other side. So this arm up and tuck the pelvis under. That's quite a bit of work for the side body, so you need a big stretch. All right, and then we'll sit on our block to stretch our hips. So like we just worked can go on top, flexing the foot, flatten the back, maybe lean into it a little bit. Maybe move your head and shoulders a little bit. Taking any movements that feel good to you at this point to release. Oh, a little tightness in there. Okay, and then we're going to come back onto the mat and we'll bring ourselves onto our back and we're going to put the block underneath our hips this time. So go ahead and press the hips up and place the block behind your sacrum. Shift your clothes around if you need it. Yeah. Kind of centering the sacrum on top. And we'll just go ahead and lift your right knee, grab hold of it with your hand, and stretch your left leg long. A little easier on the block than it is on the roller, not as high. So what we'll do is to start with, we'll inhale, and then as we exhale, we're going to kind of pull our rib cage down toward the mat, lengthen, and float the leg up. And let it float up. And then inhale, let it float down and relax. And then as we exhale, we gently pull the rib cage down, float the leg up, inhale it down and relax. So the movement is coming from our psoas, right? Exhale, float up. So we're not trying to lift our leg with our leg. We're lifting it from our psoas, right? Exhale, float up. Inhale down, but make sure you just kind of pull that rib cage down and then lift up. Good. And the next time it floats down, you can let it stay there and relax. And you might pull your right knee in more, stretch that left leg long, increase the stretch. We might like to open our knee out to the side, keeping our left hip down, just a little open, just kind of pull it a little bit out to that right side. And bring it back. And then we'll slide our left foot in, grab that knee, stretch your right leg long. We're just holding on to this knee, and then we'll inhale. As we exhale, gently pull the rib cage down, lengthen the leg and let it float up. And float back down and relax. Notice this side feels different to you. So as we exhale, gently pull the rib cage down, float the leg up, float it down and relax. Exhale, pull rib cage down, float leg up, float it down, relax. Again, it's not about how high we can lift the leg. You kind of want your leg to feel sort of heavy, right? So that you feel it coming from the psoas, not your leg trying to lift. And then next time it floats down, go ahead and let it relax. Pull that knee in a little more. Maybe stretch your right leg a little long. Increase the stretch. And maybe open that left knee a little bit, keeping our right hip down. So we can kind of open the hip and get a stretch in there. And bring it back. And then slide your right knee in. So you've got both legs in. And we're going to stretch our legs to the ceiling, straighten the legs to the ceiling here. And open them apart. So just straddle the legs. And you might have your arms on the ground. You might like to hold on to your legs, rest your hands, or legs on your hands, I mean, in the straddle. Kind of relax into the gravity of the moment. Opening the hips. And then bring the legs together. And this is where you may want to use a strap or a band. So we're going to put our left foot on the mat. And you're either going to hold on to your right leg as you stretch your left leg long, or you can hook something around your foot to help you stretch, those of you that need help. And then we can just really increase that stretch by lengthening the left leg as we stretch our right leg, right? Increase the splits there. You can move your foot, give it a little flex and point, circle around. And then go ahead and let your left foot slide along the mat. You're going to bring that leg up and then straighten it. And if you're using a strap, just switch it. Stretch your right leg down. Stretch the left leg here. However you want to do that. And then move the foot to stretch leg. But really reaching that right leg long, right? Getting it all the way on the mat. So we increase the hip flexor stretch. And then go ahead and bend that knee. Put both feet on the mat here. So we're back to our bent knees. Take the strap off if you're using it. Push the hips up. Take your block out, slide it out from underneath you. And we're going to go ahead and melt our spine down one vertebra at a time. Yeah. And then we'll lift our head and shoulders, reach and roll up, or grab hold of your legs if you need to come up. And we'll bring ourselves onto our all fours. Just that can. And this time what we're going to do is we're going to put the block under the knee. So we're going to start with our left knee on the block. Again, this is a lot about our pelvic. We're going to do a lot of focus on pelvic mobility, okay, and shifting our pelvis around. So bringing your hands wherever they need to go, because you might need to change that, make them a little wider or something. And just start with your maybe toes tucked into the mat. Start by shifting your hips up and down like we did at the beginning. So you're going to let your right knee sort of drop and then lift it up, let it drop, lift it up, and just feel your pelvis shifting in this side to side movement. Lift and lower the right leg. Lift and drop. And then we'll find the in-between so you feel level. Stretch your right leg long behind you. You're just going to look down and lengthen your spine. You might need to adjust your hands. Lengthen through the crown and lift that leg up. Really feel your spine long. And you're just going to lower and lift that right leg. It's going to touch down and lift and breathe. And lengthening through the crown. And then we'll bring that leg down, bend the knee, put it back, and just do a little crooked child's pose by sitting back to your heels. That's the best way I can describe it, a little crooked child's pose. You might like the sensation of shifting your hips around like this. All right, take that leg off, put it under the block under your right knee. Again, kind of find your hands where they need to be, and we'll lift and lower this knee up so the hip is lifting and lowering. Feel that movement. And see if it's different on this side. Just notice, right? And then find your neutral, kind of find your level pelvis, stretch that left leg long, and just lengthen through the crown and lift and lower the leg. So we're really trying to lengthen the spine Kind of floating that leg up and down. Breathe. All right, and the next time it lowers, bend the knee, sit back into a little crooked child's pose on this side. Back, reaching the arms forward. Then we'll come up and put the block between our knees, between our legs, here. Hands on the mat, and for a little cat-cow with a squeeze, right? So inhaling as you look forward, let your spine arch. And then as we exhale, we gently squeeze the block, curl the tailbone, round the back, maybe let your head drop and relax. And then on the inhale, coming into your arch, release. And again, exhale, curl the tailbone under, gently squeeze, round. Releasing on your inhale. Tuck your toes into the mat here. As you exhale, gently squeeze, curl around, and then float the knees up off the mat. Lower down, come into an arch. Exhale, gently squeeze and round the back. Float the knees if you want. Hike the hips up. And bring it back to bent knee, floating over the mat, lower down and arch. And exhale, curl and round as you gently squeeze, lift the hips, hike them up if that appeals to you. And we come back the way we came, lower down and arch. Good. Just one more time. So rounding, float, hike the hips, press them up, coming back the way we came, lower down and arch. And then go ahead and curl the tailbone, press your hips back, one little child's pose with your hips even this time. Level and even. A non-crooked child's pose. Okay, and then we'll come up and put the block on the ground and come onto our belly. Right. So you might like to have a towel folded up or a blanket or a pillow under your chest for this, because we're going to have our arms over our head. So bring the block out and put your hands on top. And the block's going to tilt a little bit. So wherever your hands want to go there. Looking down, we're going to inhale. And then as we exhale, we're just going to press into a little extension. And your block will probably tilt towards you. And then back down. Good. And a few more times. And this time, as we press up into that extension, let's float our left leg up and sort of reach and float it up. And then lower it back down as we come down. Inhale, exhale, press up and float the right leg up. And inhale, lower down. Good. Again, alternating. Left leg floats up as we press up. And down. One more time. Up, right leg can float up a little bit. And lower down. And then taking hold of our block on the ends, right, on the two ends like that. We're going to float the arms up the ground, bend your elbows to bring your block in, just into your chest, and then stretch it back out and lower down. Good. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, pull it in. Maybe you lift a little higher. reach it out and lower down. Now we're going to switch it up. So inhale, float up, exhale, taking the block in the right hand, bring both arms behind you, switch the block, bring it back over the head and lower down. And then float up, take the block in the left hand, bring both arms back, kind of lift up a little bit more, switch, and overhead, and lower down. A couple more. Float up, switching the block, take it with your right hand, switch, bring it back, in your left hand, lower down. One more time. Or if you're even on, make sure you're even on both sides. Bring it behind you, lift up more if you can. Bring it over. Good. And lower down. Good. And then just go ahead and bring your elbows underneath. Press yourself up to the knees. Sit back to the heels. Widen your knees apart if you like doing that, right? You can open the hips, stretch. Okay, and then we'll, a little moment, we'll sit back down on our mat. You want to take your block and put it between, oops, if I can get it, put it between your knees or your thighs again. It's always interesting to look up and see who's left at this point. The diehards. Okay, so we're going to just do a little bit of teaser. We'll use the block to squeeze, right? So holding on, we're going to inhale as we lengthen the spine. As we exhale, we're going to round back. And then you come back to your arms are straight or you're about halfway down. Float your legs up, right? And then see if you can release the arms. Hold. Bring your hands back to your legs. Lower the feet and come up. We'll just do that a couple more times and maybe kind of play around with it. So inhale, exhale, round back, shoulders stay relaxed. And then when you come back to the point where your legs can float off the ground, we float them up. And then maybe you straighten them and then let go. And maybe you can lift the spine a little bit more. Maybe not, that's okay. And then hold on to the legs, let the knees bend, feet come down, come up. It's all a process, right? One more. Inhale, exhale, back. You gently squeeze the block, always helps us. And then float the legs. And then again, maybe straighten them, maybe reach, maybe lift the spine. There we are. And then hold on, bend knees, let the feet float down and come up. This helps to have something to squeeze, huh? Okay, you can take that out. Bring yourself to sitting. You can have your legs in a diamond if you want. I've got my Vermont bandage on today. Or you can straddle the legs if that's comfortable for you. Bend the knees, whatever you need to do. Yeah, arms out. So we'll take a couple of back saws and then a few forward saws, right? So we're going to rotate as we anchor our hips down. We're just going to reach back, kind of bending that back elbow. Reach away from your foot and then press back up to center. So back saw is really the same, only we're going backwards, right? And we take our back hand down and stretch at that diagonal and come back to center. Maybe two more. If you want, you can lift your hips off the ground and reach across, or just keep them on the ground. Reaching back and come center. Inhale, exhale, really stretch that arm back. Spiral movement, and then we'll do forward saw, regular saw. So anchoring the hips, stretching for that opposite foot. Lift up Inhale, exhale. Use your back hand to help you, or just reach it away from your forward arm. And breathe, really breathe. Take advantage of the shoulder stretch, the twist. And just going until we're even on both sides and we feel complete. And coming to center, letting your shoulders kind of relax and move them around. All right. Thanks for coming, everybody. I'm going to hit and happy holiday.